Stacie. Go get a toy. Go get a toy. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. Oh, I gotta use my blanket. Oh my gosh. Someone's very excited. Quiet. Okay. Go over there. Oh my gosh, all of a sudden it's playtime. Hello, welcome to today's class. Today we are doing a restorative yoga class. So we will be using all of our props. We will be using our bolster, our folded blanket, and our blocks. And we are going to be taking this time to settle into every single posture, hold it for long periods of time, between 3 and 5 minutes for each pose. And during that time that we're holding the poses, I want you to be very aware of how you're feeling in each pose. In restorative, each posture connects with different meridian lines, it connects with different organs and different chakras as well, different energy centers. And all of these are connected to emotions and then, of course, connected to thoughts as well. So while you're settling into these postures, just allow yourself to notice what is happening in the body, what is happening in the mind, really allowing everything to just come together and to integrate into your one entire whole self. And we're going to also be focusing on the breath. So in every posture, I want you to connect the breath with the body, with your entire self, by focusing on a nice deep inhale through the nose, followed by a deep exhale through the nose. Now, you might also want to take what's called a cleansing breath. And this is when we have an exhale through the mouth in like a sigh. And in different positions, your body is going to feel like it just wants to expel everything out. So I want you to let it. You can be as loud with your breathing as you want to be, as you need to be. So without any further conversation, I'm happy that you're here. Thank you so much for joining me today on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. I hope your morning has been fantastic, and I hope you've had the opportunity to do things that make you happy. And if you haven't, well, the time is right now, because this makes us happy. This is why we're here. And it also provides us with many life lessons. So let's find a comfortable place laying down on your back. We're going to lay down on the mat to begin with our mind warm-up, and then we're going to move into our body warm-up, and then the rest of practice with the postures. So come join me on the mat, laying down here. Oh, and if you do have music that you want to listen to, please play your favorite playlist right now. I unfortunately cannot play music during class because of copyright, but you can, so do that. Lay the entire body out. And just take note of how you're feeling here as you begin to settle in. Feeling the backs of the heels as they're melting into the ground, the calves, the thighs, the buttocks, the low back, the mid back, upper back and shoulders, the back of the head. Rest the hands comfortably, either resting on the abdomen or next to you with palms up or palms down. Allowing yourself to be here. Settle into the stillness that's here in the room. Feel how the stillness is opening up to you, how it's welcoming you here. And allow yourself to melt into it. The stillness is always here, underneath the chaos, underneath the busyness, the chaos is sometimes so busy for us and so extreme, but there's always the stillness underneath. So in moments of being anxious of what's happening, seek out that stillness and allow yourself to soften into it. Relax your throat, relax your jaw, your cheeks, your eyes. Remove any emotion from your forehead. In your mind, scan the body all the way from the tip of the toes, working your way up to the top of the head, looking for any places of holding tension, holding muscles, and using the breath to just completely let everything go. Feeling as though the body is so heavy, melting into the ground. Think about what brought you to class here today, what you hope to achieve in your practice today. Setting an intention for this practice, not an expectation, an intention. Think about that intention in its simplest form and breathe it into your entire self 3 times, allowing it to become part of your every essence. Notice the breath now, as the body is still laying heavy. Notice the natural breath, the speed and depth of the breath. And begin to encourage the breath to deepen and to lengthen, so that every inhale is a little bit longer and every exhale is a little bit deeper, allowing the inhale to softly flow into the exhale. The exhale rolls into the inhale. The breath slowly moving the belly so that it rises with every single breath in and falls with every single breath out. Smooth, easy cycles of breath. Taking your hands to the belly now. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Feel how the belly rises. And then sigh out the breath through the mouth. Inhaling again deeply. And exhale, let it go. One more breath just like this. Inhale. And release. On the next inhale, lengthen all the way from the tip of the fingers to the tip of the toes as the hands reach behind you. And then exhale, hugging the knees in and taking a slow rocking side to side on the low back. Inhale and lengthen all the way out. And exhale, hugging it in. And one more full breath in, just like this. Lengthen. And exhale, hugging it in. We're going to come to a seated position. So either roll to one side and push up, or cross at the ankles here and rock up. And take note of how you're feeling as you come up here. We're going to come into a seated position. The left leg is down, the right leg either stacked in front or on top, sitting evenly here in the sit bones and rising up super tall through the whole spine. Feeling the length of the spine growing all the way from the tailbone to the crown of the head as the hips are softening in here. Going to take a nice big deep inhale. And on the exhale, twisting easy over to the right. The left hand comes outside the right knee, right hand behind the body. 3 full breath rounds, just like this. Inhale and lengthen, and exhale and twisting to the right. Chin, chest, and navel in line. On the last exhale, slowly coming back to center, grow tall in the torso, hinge from the hips all the way over the hands, walking the hands in front of you, pushing the hips back, allowing the head to drop to the ground, widen in the hand span, push the entire palm into the ground, drop the chin. Stay here for 3 full breaths. Every inhale, the spine lengthens. Every exhale, the head comes down a little bit more. Try not to round the shoulders here, keeping the spine nice and straight. Doesn't matter how far you come down. On the last exhale, slowly walking up through the hands, rise up really tall again, grow super tall in the spine, and take a slow, easy twist over to the left. Right hand outside of right knee, left hand behind the body. Inhale, lift through the crown. Exhale, twist from the navel. 3 full breaths. On the last exhale, come through the center again, taking the legs the other way. So right leg down first, left leg either on top or stacked in front, and making sure you're staying nice and even on those sit bones, lifting up super tall from the entire spine, the tailbone, all the way to the crown. Lift and open, and then exhale, hinge forward, palms wide, crawl forward, push the hips back, drop the head. 3 full breaths, softening in the hips, noticing the difference on this side. Slowly walking the hands back, grow tall in the middle, inhale, and we're going to take a nice easy side to side in the arms as we stretch the lateral side of the body, our whole side body here. Exhale as you reach over, inhale as you come to the center, spinning the ribs up as you stretch across, even closing the eyes here to really become part of the movement, not being distracted by what the physical eyes are seeing. Close the physical eyes to open up our third eye center, our center for introspection and reflection. And every time you come across, you're going a little bit deeper, opening those side ribs up a little bit more. Couple more times each side. Reach, stretch, and open. And then settling into the center, we're going to come up to hands and knees. You can cushion your knees with a folded blanket if you'd like. Coming to tabletop here. Make sure that the hands are shoulder width apart. The knees are hip distance apart. The tops of the feet pushing into the mat. The palms of the hands pushing into the mat. Feel like someone's pulling your hips behind as someone's pulling the crown of your head forward so that you feel that long lengthening down the entire spine. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chin all the way up, push into the ground. Come to cow. Exhale, round the back, tuck the chin, take a nice easy sway in the spine, in the hips, letting the head just hang. Inhale, come all the way back up to cow. And exhale, round the shoulders, drop the chin, take that sway. Letting everything just be exactly as it is. Inhale, come up. And exhale, round. Beautiful. We're going to come all the way back up again to table pose. Keeping the knees where they are, the hands under the shoulders. And now look over the left shoulder. Take 2 full breath rounds here. Coming back to center. And now look all the way over the right shoulder. 2 full breaths. Coming back to center, we're going to take those big toes together to touch. The knees go wide. We sit the hips all the way back. Keep the hands exactly where they are, dropping the forehead all the way down. Push into the hands. Soften the belly and take 2 full breaths here. Push into the hands, come on up, and wiggle the fingers forward about 2 inches. Leave the hips where they are. Push into the hands. Sit the hips all the way back again. Drop the forehead down. Stay here for 3 full breaths. Inhale, come all the way back up again. Don't move the hips. Wiggle the fingers forward a little bit more. Really reach. And drop the forehead down. Push into the palms. Stay here for 2 full breaths. Slowly push into the hands to come on up. And we're going to start with our first posture. So just take note of how you're doing. How is everything feeling? All right, great. I want to start with a heart opener. And I want to do this because of a couple of conversations that I had this week that were along the same lines. They were very similar conversations about being connected and how it seems as though people are very disconnected from other people in relation to how people treat each other, what they think is acceptable and not, how ego plays a role, how people feel the need to control others, all of this conversation. And what it comes down to, in my opinion, is that as people are less and less connected with themselves, how can we expect anyone to be connected to each other? Right? It starts with understanding yourself and taking the time to connect with yourself. And this is why I practice. And I'm sure why you practice, for a multitude of other reasons. But it helps us understand ourselves, be compassionate, be kind. So in this heart opener, we're focusing all on kindness and compassion and opening our heart to ourselves, kindness to ourselves. Taking the bolster up against the small of the back, all the way up, maybe with a pillow or folded blanket on top. Allow the body to just lean over. Settle in here, and then taking the soles of the feet together to touch. The knees come out to the sides, using the blocks on the outside of the upper thigh to prop the knees open. Make sure that the soles of the feet stay together. Take a moment to make sure you're even on your sit bones. And then your hand placement can either be next to you, palms up or palms down, or reaching up behind the head. Or allowing the hands to rest on the abdomen, whatever feels good for you. Settle in here. I invite you to close the eyes if that feels good for you. And as you settle in, as you inhale, inhale kindness. And as you exhale, exhale letting go. Even stating it in your mind like a mantra with every single breath round. Allowing the body to completely relax. Scanning the body, slowly moving up from the tip of the toes all the way to the crown of the head, looking for any points of tension, and relaxing and releasing any holding or tension that you find. Can you soften even more? Melting into this pose even more. Thinking about how you are kind to yourself or not kind. How does this present? What does this look like? How does this manifest physically, emotionally, and in the stories that you tell yourself about who you are? Soften even more. Take 5 full, deep rounds of breath here. On the last exhale, very gently guide the knees together with the hands. Move the blocks out of the way. Roll off the bolster with eyes closed, coming to roll on the right hand side. Stay here for just a moment, taking note of how you're feeling in all aspects of yourself. How are you feeling in the mind, in the heart, in the body, your energy level? Where's the breath? And then very gently taking the left hand down, push the body up to a seated position. We're going to come into a forward fold using the bolster underneath our knees. So this is the restorative modification for caterpillar pose. So feel the legs supported here. We don't want to have any sort of tension in the knees. Rise up really tall in the spine for a moment. Widen across your collarbone, adjusting the chin here. And very gently lengthen the spine still and hinge forward so that the belly comes to touch the thighs. And then lower the head all the way down. Just let it hang. And your hands are just resting comfortably. And breathe. Soften the belly as much as you can. Let the head just go. Make sure the head is soft by doing a tiny little shake out. No. And then nod it out. Yes. And then shake it out again. No. Very slow. And then settle into this pose, committing to stillness for a few moments. Widening the back. Softening the legs. Allowing everything to just be exactly as it is. Can you settle in even more, melting into the pose even more? Keep the belly soft so the breath is moving evenly and softly through the belly, keeping the face soft, the throat soft. Take 5 full deep breath rounds here. After the last exhale, slowly roll up, one vertebrae at a time. Head is the last to come up. Just pause for a moment here. Maybe taking slow circles in the head, half circles, I should say. So rolling right ear to right shoulder, and then inhale, chin down. Exhale, left ear to left shoulder, and then chin down. And repeating this. Great. We're going to come to lay down on the belly now and come to a pose called half frog. We will definitely be using our bolster, and the bolster is going to be lined up along the right side of the mat. We're going to come to lay on the belly. You can have a folded blanket nearby if you want it for your forehead. So come lay down here, moving as slowly as you want, taking note of how you get down to the ground. You can rest your head on the blanket or in stacked hands. And now we're going to take the right leg out to land on the bolster in a 90-degree angle. So we have the ankle, the knee, and the hip 90-degree angle to each other. We're going to dig those left toes into the mat. Push the leg up and move the left leg away from the midline. So you'll feel those hips opening. And then readjust in the chest and lower the forehead all the way down to the hands or the folded blanket or pillow. And rest here. Softening into the right hip. And you settle in even more, allowing everything to soften. Make sure you're not holding any tension in any part of the body. And now take the left toes, stub them into the ground again, lift that left leg up and move the leg even further away from the midline, and then settle back into the hips. Softening into the low back. Breathing deeply here. Notice if you have any resistance in the body to this posture, and then soften the resistance. Taking 5 full deep breath rounds just like this. Don't rush the breath. After the last exhale, taking the left toes back into the mat, lift the left leg up, bring it back towards the midline, and now take the right leg off the bolster, also moving it towards the midline. Come back so that you're nice and even on the mat, still on your belly. Lift those feet up so the knees are bent, and just take a nice easy windshield wiper, moving the bolster out of the way. Windshield wipers side to side here. Feeling the difference in the hips. Taking one more full breath in, full breath out. And we're going to come to half frog on the other side. So setting up with the bolster on the left side of the mat. Taking your left leg to rest on the bolster in a 90-degree angle that the hip, the knee, and the ankle are making. Dig those right toes into the mat. Move the right hip away from the midline and resting the forehead down on stacked hands. Settle in. Remember that you have committed to stillness here. So if you feel that you need to fidget in the body, that's okay. You are human. You're going to have those feelings sometimes. You are going to resist the urge to move the body. You're going to use the breath to allow yourself to just settle in comfortably and not fidget. And if you feel thoughts or you sense thoughts coming into the mind and taking you out of this moment, that's okay. Acknowledge those thoughts and then use the exhale to watch them float by. Even telling those thoughts, I see you, I
hear you, and when I'm finished, if I so choose, I will deal with you after. And then settle back into the body using the breath. Take note of any place that you're holding and soften as much as you can, allowing everything to just be soft and relaxed. Now that we've been here for a couple of moments, take those toes back into the mat, lift the right leg up, and move the hip even more away from the midline, and then settle back into the hips. Can you soften even more? Taking 5 full deep breath rounds just like this. After the last exhale, take the right toes back into the mat, lift that right leg, bring it back towards the midline, gently moving the left leg off the bolster, taking the bolster out of the way, bending knees and windshield wipering side to side. Breathing deeply, take note of how the hips are feeling, how the low back is feeling. I know for me, this posture is one of the most effective in my low back and my hips to just release everything. It's pretty fantastic. For you, it might be different. So I would love to hear from you. Let me know. Taking one more full breath in, full breath out. We're going to push up into the hands. And we're going to come to a child's pose position. So if you're looking for the most modified child's pose, you're going to come with the bolster in between the legs. allowing the body to completely rest on top of the bolster, pushing the hips back. Make sure there's room for your face, and then allowing your forehead to rest on the block. And you can stay just like that. If you're looking for something that's not as modified, you can just have knees wide, big toes come together to touch, sitting the hips back and resting the forehead either on stacked hands, on the mat, on a folded blanket, and just allowing the elbows to bend in, but keep the hands span wide so that you can feel as much of the ground underneath you. And then just let the forehead come all the way down. And stay here. Feel how the back is widening and opening here. Breathing deeply, softening the belly. Making sure you're not holding any tension in the body. Relaxing completely. Can you let go even more? Relaxing even deeper into this pose. Widening through the back. Taking 5 full deep breath rounds here. After the last exhale, gently push into the hands to lift the torso up. The head is last to come up. Gently bringing the knees back to the midline. Come to sit down, and we're going to roll all the way onto the back, having your bolster nearby. As you get on your back, hug the knees into the chest. Take a nice easy rocking side to side.
And just feel the feeling of being on your back again, connecting with the ground on your back, keeping the breath deep and the throat and the face soft. We're going to plant the feet on the mat, knees are bent. Just take a moment to connect the feet with the ground. And then pushing into the feet to lift the hips up. We're going to take the bolster and slide it underneath the body, wiggling it up so that it's on the sacrum. And then very gently allow the feet to lift all the way up towards the sky. Coming to a legs up the wall pose. That even though our legs aren't physically up the wall, we still call this legs up the wall. Automatically stimulating our parasympathetic nervous system to activate our relaxation response. You might feel tingling in the legs, in the fingertips, in the lips, or other parts of the body. And this is your energy force, your qi as it's known in TCM, in traditional Chinese medicine, or your prana, your life force as it's known in yoga philosophy. And sometimes it tends to pool into the bottoms of the feet. So when we lift the feet up like this, all of that energy flows back into the body. Settling in here. Breathing deeply into the belly. And just letting everything go. Can you relax even more? Making sure you're not holding onto any muscles here, that nothing feels active in this pose, that you're just passively enjoying this posture. Taking 5 full deep breath rounds here, just like this. After the last exhale, slowly lower the legs down. Ow, you're on my hair. Feet come down to the ground.
Push into the feet to lift the hips up, moving the bolster out of the way, hugging knees into chest, and slowly rocking side to side. And now you can come into your Shavasana, maybe with socks on the feet or a warm shirt on or a blanket on you. And I'll see you back here in a couple of moments. If you'd like, you can allow yourself to have a longer Shavasana. And if that is you, then just ignore me speaking. If you are ready to come out of Shavasana, very gently bringing the awareness back into the body. Deepen your breath. Making small movements in the fingers and the toes. With eyes closed, gently come to one side. Stay here for a moment in fetal position, feeling the protective nature, the feeling of safety and comfort that you feel in this pose. This is your body's first position. Allow yourself to settle into it. Giving thanks here to yourself for making this time for yourself and giving yourself this gift that no one else can ever give you. Just you. And take note of how you're feeling in all parts of yourself. And very carefully and still with eyes closed, push up to a seated position. Hold your heart under your hands. Connect with the feeling of your heartbeat. Connect with your feeling of strength and empowerment. And connecting with the sense of kindness and compassion that you have for yourself and for others around you. I want to thank you so much for sharing your energy here with me and allowing me to share mine with you. The light that shines inside of me acknowledges and appreciates the light that shines within all of you. Enjoy the rest of your day and your evening, everybody. Tomorrow, Yoga Nidra, half hour, 2:30 to 3 o'clock. Hope to see you there. Thank you so much for being here.